Welcome to Colonial View. I'm Vicki Wire, the administrator of Colonial View, and with me today is Alice Isbell, who's one of our original residents. Alice moved into Colonial View in 1980. What Alice has been doing has been a very interesting hobby that we wanted to share with you today. So I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to Alice Isbell.
What was it you wanted?
Alice, would you explain some of what you do and what you're doing and the pictures that you have made over the years with jewelry?
Well, I just take an old frame and put velvet on it. I used to use velvet all the time, but now I use felt because you can glue the felt down, and the jewelry sticks to the felt because it's got so much of a nab to it, more so than the velvet. And then I just pick up old jewelry wherever I can find it, and people give it to me. They're very generous about giving me lots of jewelry and other things, beads. And so then I just set them out, and lots of times I have to work at it for days in order to get it to just where I want it, and then I glue them down. And I've done that now for the 20 years that I've been working at it. And as you can see, it's just hit or miss, whatever you have to work with. Well, that's what you put on the velvet, on the material. And you were wondering how many pictures I've made. I counted up last night, and it's just slightly under 100 that I made in 20 years. But just the pictures. That's what I figured up last night, that I could remember that I had given away and made for different people. And
what special things do you do to the jewelry to prepare it?
I have to take all the backs off, and that's the hardest job, because when there's stones in it, while you try to take the back off, then you dislocate the stones and they fall out. So I save all them back, and then the next time I find jewelry that needs a stone, I can replace it in different pieces. But it's just a good pastime, keeps me busy. And if I can stay away from reading books too much, why, then I'm all right.
What helps you decide how you're going to create the picture? The jewelry or the frame? How do you decide how you're going to create the picture?
It all depends on the frame. And then I look through all of the jewelry that I've got in the boxes, the beads and everything, and try to get something that matches the frame. This was an old white frame, and I painted it gold colored because it was just too banged up, you know. And so that's what I tried to pick out the gold stuff for this, but it's kind of dull by the time I get it done. I don't know if it's going to be too good or not. But this is the kind of glue I use, and it just use these to put the glue underneath, you know. I don't know where they come from, but that especially if you've got little tiny stews or stems or things like that to put on.
Alice, this is a hobby that you first started after you retired, am I right?
Yes. After my husband died, well, I made Afghans, and I just made so many that I gave to my kids that they didn't want them anymore, so then I started working on the beads. Some lady who had her brother in Iowa sent her a Christmas tree cut out of wood, and so she got me one. So I started there. And then at first I put lights on them, but the lights was every year some of it twinkle out, and it was just too much of a nuisance to keep, so then I took all the lights out and just put beads in place. Of course, that's on my Christmas trees.
Well, Alice has made several pictures that we have hung up all over throughout the hallway of Colonial View on the 3rd floor. And we'd like to do a walking tour now with Alice and show you all of those pictures.
I
Are you ready to do that with us, Alice?
Okay. Styrofoam, this is on styrofoam, and they're pinned on. And that's the first one I made. I didn't think that the glue would hold, but it does. And so, like I said, that's the first one.
So these are not glued on, they're all pinned on?
They're all pinned on, but these. Otherwise, everything's pinned.
And then after this one, then you went to the glue.
And after that.
Usually,
Were very hard to string. In fact, it took me days to string the little white beads to make the stems. And then these inside are little bright colored beads that I had. And then each one of these is put on separate because it was a string of beads that you couldn't sew. You couldn't fix together. And so I had to cut them and put each one separate.
how many days do you think that took you? How many days?
Oh, I don't know. Probably 3-4 days for each one. And then this one I did the same thing because the frame was white. And I thought it would kind of go together. But like just about every time you pick up a frame, then you want to find something to go with it. And so for that reason, I thought the white was the best. Like everybody likes the pictures of the owls on, and I think I've got 4 or 5 with owls. And of course the little stars, they're nothing but just jewelry. And this is one that I made real early when I first started putting the flowers together. And this is an old one too. That was one of the first ones that I made. To make these little drops. And I also put some on there, but not too many. But these were bigger. And this backing is altogether different too. But these were all necklaces too, and chains. Talking about that one, because these were my sister's, and after she died, my nieces gave me her jewelry. That was going to be my last one, so I put all my big jewelry on it, and then I started collecting up again. It took about 3 years to make it. I would put it away on the back of my couch, and then whenever I'd get a piece of jewelry, I thought it worked. And I couldn't figure what to put here. And that was there for so long. So one day I thought I'd make a clover field. And so that's what that's supposed to be. But nobody ever thought it was clover till my grandson was here. And he said, "Oh, you've got clover fields." And that just tickled me. Left him in the office, and so I had this old frame, and so I just put them all on there in different colors to see if they And it worked out kind of good. Of course, each one is glued by itself. Last one that I made, it's all earrings. So I call it an earring tree. I've been saving all them up to make another tree for quite a while.
Alice, where have you gotten all of your jewelry to do this? Where do you get your jewelry from?
Oh, from the church sales mostly. And of course, like I said, lots of times in my little mailbox outside of my door, there's 2 earrings, or somebody leaves a little bag and I never know who does it, unless they bring it to the office and then I find out. But otherwise, there's been so much of it that's just left at my door.
That's just one of our residents and her wonderful talents. We have many residents in Colonial View who have many wonderful talents, and we're hoping to show more of them to you as the time goes on. We have quilters, we have painters, many more wonderful talents that we hope to show you soon.